Hello everyone, my name is Corps and welcome back to another video. Now today is a bit of a different video from what I'm usually making. In case you can't tell, I've never really done any sort of commentary-esque videos before. I'm still pretty new to doing this, so some feedback would be super appreciated. I just thought it would be fun to come on here and just kind of ramble and talk about my thoughts regarding the new DISVENTURE Camp All-Stars redesigns. That's right, you heard me. Not only are our favourite cast of characters coming back to replay for a new season, but they are also getting new redesigns. Now before I begin properly analysing these new designs, I just want to quickly give my friends at Odd Nation Cartoons a quick shout out. They have been working extremely hard on this new season and I'm really excited for January for when it first releases. If you want to help support them in any way, shape or form, you can subscribe to their YouTube channel, follow them on Instagram, and even pay to subscribe to their Patreon where you'll get special access to special perks and a bunch of really fun stuff. I'm going to be talking about each character as they were released on Instagram earlier today. So first up on the list of new characters returning is Lake. Now I'm extremely excited to see Lake back. She was on my list of top 5 characters who I want to win a season, and I really think Lake winning would be a really fun idea. Not only is she extremely smart, but she's also extremely athletic and she's super kind, so I think that Lake winning a season is completely deserved in my opinion. When comparing her design to her original design in Season 2, her wig seems to be a bit more tousled, which honestly I really like it. They brought back the bow from her original blonde wig, which I think looks really nice. She's no longer wearing a skirt, instead wearing a pair of shorts, which I think really suits her personality and her character. And she's no longer wearing a white collared shirt underneath her jumper, which I think gives her a lot more of a relaxed, laid back, but also determined kind of look. Overall, despite these changes being quite minimal, I actually do really like this design a lot more than her design in Season 2, and I'm super excited to see what they do with Lake as a character this season. Now, the next character who got announced was actually Gret, which was actually quite a surprising pick. She was one of the characters who I wanted to come back for this season, but I honestly thought wouldn't. But either or, I'm extremely happy to see her back, and her redesign seems to have caused a bit of a stir within the DISVENTURE Camp community. Probably one of the most noticeable things about her new redesign is the fact that she does look skinnier than she did in Season 1. In the caption of the original Instagram post, it reads, "This season will address a sensitive topic such as weight loss, so let's avoid making judgments or criticisms without knowing the context. We are aware that this can be a sensitive topic for some, and we will strive to approach this topic as realistically as possible." Which, I think this is a super interesting way to take Gret's character, because I'd never really thought about taking it in this direction before. I will admit I am a little bit skeptical to see where this goes, however, I do know a lot of the people on the writing team, and I do firmly believe that they know what they're doing. Let me know what you think about this change in the comment section and let's have a civil discussion about it. I gotta say, I really am curious to know what other people think. The next character who got released was none other than the myth, the legend, Tom! I am super excited to see Tom returning to the season, considering he was one of my favorite characters in Season 1, and I gotta say, so far his design has been my favorite. He's rocking a lot more of a casual look with the signature hoodie as well as like a black jacket on top. His hair seems to look a bit different with a bit of a messily cut fringe. And one thing that I thought was super interesting is how we can see the scars on his neck and on his hands as well, and not just on his face. Last season, these scars were obviously covered up by his gloves and by his shirt, so I think it's super interesting to see that he has more than that one scar on his face. Overall, Tom is looking really good here in my opinion. If anyone were to win this season, I think him and Lake would probably be my top 2 picks, and I'm really excited to see where they go with his character. Okay, now next was probably one of the most surprising picks in my opinion, but coming back we have Season 2's winner, James. James is one of the characters who didn't really have much change in his design, other than a new hairstyle and the sleeves of his shirt being a slightly darker yellow. He basically looks the same as he did in Season 2. I will say, I am actually extremely surprised to see James come back considering he did win Season 2. Now, don't get me wrong, I totally understand that this is an all-star season, so it makes sense why he would return, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to win. Also, he was one of the characters who had a pretty perfectly wrapped story in my opinion, so I am extremely curious to see where they take this character in a story direction. I imagine if James is coming back, then Aiden will most likely be coming back as well, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, next up, and probably the character that took me by surprise the most, is Tess! I am so happy to see Tess come back. She was one of my favorite characters from season 2. She was super underrated, and I think she's looking really, really nice here. And considering we are seeing Tess in this season, I think this is a slight confirmation that Hunter and Allie will most likely be returning as well. Now, analysing her design a bit more, we can see that she's rocking a bit of a new hairstyle with a bun. She has a new shirt as well as a white sleeved shirt underneath it, and she seems to still be wearing her signature jacket around her waist as well as a pair of black stockings, which honestly looks really, really nice. Tess is another one of the characters who I think got a really, really good design this season, and I like it better than her season 2 design. I don't really have anything much to add on to this, however, I will say I am extremely excited to see Tess returning for this season, and maybe she could get even farther than she did before. I'd really like to see her maybe make it past the merge, maybe make some new friends. I am really interested to see where this character goes this season. And next, oh my gosh. Next we have Alec, and bro is going through his bum era right now. Odd Nation, what did you do to the myth, the legend? What did you do to Alec? I can't believe we didn't get more of his Tumblr sexy man era. Okay, but joking aside, I do completely understand this design at a story aspect, considering at the end of last season he just went through a divorce, so I can imagine that he's probably not doing so well mentally. His design is basically exactly the same as his season 1 design, except he's no longer wearing his vest and he has a bit of a scruffy beard, as seen in episode 9. Despite the fact that I am relatively disappointed about this design, I do completely understand it on a story aspect. Alec was one of the few characters in season 1 who I felt like never really got a proper conclusion to his story, so I think continuing it in this way is a really, really fun and interesting way on expanding his character. Also, psst, Jared, Robert, bring back Nick, make Alan Nick canon. Make Alan Nick canon. Moving on from Alec, next up we have Gabby, and she is another character who does look pretty similar from her season 1 counterpart. Her design is basically the same except for the fact that there's a bit of a lighter red stripe against her jumper, and her bow is a lot bigger, and I think the bigger bow is absolutely adorable. She looks so cute. I think her and Tess interacting would be a really interesting duo, considering they've both gone through mental health issues, and I think maybe them discussing with one another about those issues would be a really interesting dynamic to explore this season. I honestly don't really have much more to say about Gabby because I don't really know what they would do with her character this season, but I will say I am really intrigued to see where she goes. Now, last but certainly not least for the first batch, we have Yul. And man, does he look ready. Yul is a character in season 2 who, despite the fact that I absolutely despised, I really wanted him to come back and cause so much hell and drama for the All-Star season, and I'm so glad that he is back. Now, on a design aspect, he does look pretty similar to his season 2 counterpart. However, he is, again, rocking a pretty cool hairstyle. I do like this a lot better than his season 2 design, and I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like his skin is a bit paler than it was in season 2. But regardless, I am so ready to see Yul return and act like an absolute douchebag. Also, considering James has also returned, and I can imagine that Yul watched last season, he's most likely not happy with the fact that he was poisoned, and I think he's gonna try and get some revenge on James. I can already tell with this cast of characters alone that this season is going to be a fun one, and I am so excited for the release. Now, if I had to make some of my own predictions on who I think would come back, I'm gonna make a guess and say Jake, Ellie, Rosa Maria. I really hope Nick comes back since I think he'd be super fun, and I think Ashley would also be a fun pick, but what do you guys think? Who would you like to see come back for All Stars? Thank you so much for watching this video. I will say, I've never really recorded a video like this before, so I am pretty inexperienced. This is unscripted. I'm just kind of recording my thoughts. Any feedback, criticism, any of that is super appreciated. I would really like that. If you really did like this video, a like, comment, subscribe would be really appreciated, and I hope you all have an incredible day. Bye bye!